Coach Lee here, bringing you another video to help with your ultra running training and help you become the best ultra runner you can. Today I wanted to just do a quick video covering a question that I had on my strength training for ultra running video. If you haven't seen that before, again, you can just click it. It should be somewhere up here. Who knows what happens in post edit. And the question was, how do we incorporate leg training and running? And the question then ended with that they are afraid of doing a leg day on a run day, which is a really valid question and something that I get quite a lot. Now, if you remember back to that strength training video, I kind of give some brief principles or guidelines on how to incorporate strength work into your running program. And just to reiterate a couple of key points from that, one, it depends on where you're at in the program, what your goals are, and what your goal race is. We know that strength training is a must for runners to help with injury prevention or injury reduction, should I say, because you can't prevent injuries, unfortunately. There's nothing out there that does, but we can reduce the risk. And we also know it can help with things like run economy and stuff, which, whilst still undecided whether it has a huge impact on ultra running, it's still obviously not hindering your running. And also we can help with things like efficiency climbing and descending and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, so we know that we should be doing it. However, the program can be variable. And again, try not to go over too much ground of the strength training video, but think about where you're at in your program. So if you're sort of a long way from race day, a good few months or so, then obviously that's a great period to start lifting heavier weights and really trying to push performance in the gym. Now, when you're doing that, you then need to understand that your running may take a little bit of a beating because of that. If you're lifting heavy weights in the gym, fatiguing your nervous system, stuff like that, which takes a little bit longer to recover from than just muscle soreness or muscle damage, you may find that some of your runs feel a little bit more sluggish. It's not that you're going to go backwards in performance on your runs, it's just that they will feel a little bit more challenging. RPE might be slightly more elevated than normal. You might find you go out for an easy run, and if you're trying to keep it at the right RPE, you might find that actually your pace is a little bit slower than normal, which is fine, because remember, your body recognizes stimulus, not pace. So if you're biasing or prioritizing getting stronger in like an off season, your running may take a little bit of a beating. And also, if you're biasing the strength, you want to do your strength session first and then your run session afterwards if you're doing both in the same day. Inversely to that, if you're kind of getting into a build phase and you're sort of 8-10 weeks out from a race, you might find that your strength training still needs to be present, but you're not pushing the boundaries. You're going into more of a maintenance mode. You're not pushing the weights as much. Therefore, you're not constantly progressing week on week, and therefore you're reducing the fatigue and the soreness that's associated with that, and it won't impact your running as much. Equally, because you're focusing on getting better at running, your running session would come first. Therefore, you might find your strength is a little bit more challenging. Some of those numbers that you set in your off season might not be achievable during this, but it doesn't matter because we're focusing on the running. So that's just a quick one on that. In terms of the principles, the main one that you want to be doing, especially if you're doing higher volume, is that you want to actually do your leg session on the same day as a high intensity session. It's quite funny, I saw an Instagram post before saying you should never do legs on the same day as your sprint session, and I don't understand the justification for that. If we look at everything from a fatigue standpoint, which is, remember, what we're trying to achieve with training, we're trying to induce fatigue to cause the body to go into an alarm phase to then promote adaptation and recovery, i.e. repair the body fitter and stronger. So we're trying to induce fatigue, but we also need to balance that with recovery. So if you think about, if you did a sprint session on a Monday and then a leg session on the Tuesday, your legs are going to be wrecked from the sprint session on Monday, and then you're prolonging that soreness and that heavy leggedness and wreckness on the Tuesday as well. Whereas if you did your sprint session in the morning and then your leg session in the evening, you've then got the whole of Tuesday to allow for recovery, whether it's a day off or whether it's just a recovery run, an easy 30 to 4 minute steady plod. Tuesday has now become a recovery day rather than Monday and Tuesday being really hard stimulus days, and then potentially Wednesday not being a recovery day because you wanted to do some higher mileage and a normal endurance run. So if you can, the golden rule would be actually to do your leg day on the same day as your sprint session, because then you're promoting that recovery process the following day. That's obviously if you can fit 2 sessions in a day. As I mentioned in my other video, not everyone can, and that's absolutely fine. If you can't, then that's where you might want to be a bit more creative of going, well, I'm going to do a leg strength session, so maybe I won't do my sprints the next day, or vice versa. I'll try and give a good 24 hours between. So it might be that Monday's a sprint session, Tuesday's just a recovery run, or upper body in the gym perhaps, and then Wednesday is your leg session in the gym or a recovery run, and then you prolong it. So there's flexibility there. The golden sort of number one would be high intensity goes with high intensity, i.e. legs, sprints, tempos, whatever. Then your easy run days are recovery days, at best maybe chucking in an upper body strength session at the same time, and then your rest days are also then fully dedicated to rest. If you can't get them, space them out as best you can in the program, and that is how you add in a leg session and a run session at the same time. If you found it useful, as always, like and subscribe. Any other questions, any other points to this video, chuck them in the comments below. Again, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate everyone that gets involved in watching these and giving me feedback. And obviously, if you need me to cover anything or want me to cover anything specific, again, just ask, guys. I'm more than happy to help.